On September 27, 2023, Chelsea Grimm, a 32-year-old clinical psychologist from San Diego who was on a cross-country trip to Connecticut with her pet bearded dragon, Roxy, had stopped overnight at a hotel in Seligman, Arizona. While there, she told the hotel clerk that she was trying to, and I quote, stay off the grid because she feared her abusive ex-boyfriend had followed her on her trip. 3 days later, she would disappear in the Kaibab National Forest and was never seen or heard from again. Chelsea Grimm was born in Stamford, Connecticut on March 22, 1991, to parents Stephen and Janet Grimm. After high school, she studied psychology at Pace University in New York before transferring to NYU, where she earned a master's degree in social work in 2019. She then got a job working for the New York City Department of Education as a 12th grade social worker. However, wanting to help distressed teenagers, she relocated to the West Coast, specifically San Diego, where opportunities that aligned with her career goals were available. However, the move was also for personal reasons, as Chelsea was an avid photographer and poet and felt a deep connection to the West Coast natural beauty. So in 2020, she relocated to Ocean Beach, California, a beachfront neighborhood of San Diego. That's where she met Philip John Brenner, and in early 2023, they moved in together. However, in September 2023, they broke up, and that's part of the reason she took the opportunity of her friend's wedding in Connecticut to do a cross-country trip. Her family confirmed she had planned the trip to escape him and also added that she was terrified of him. She was also going to use the trip to work on her Lost Soldiers photograph project, which focused on documenting the graves of veterans and telling the stories of lost and forgotten people. On September 24, 2023, Chelsea left her home in Ocean Beach, California, and began her cross-country trip. She chose to drive instead of flying so she could bring along her bearded dragon, Roxy, who stayed with her throughout the trip. For the first few days, she made several stops to work on photography, but by the 27th, she'd only made it as far as Phoenix, which was only a 6-hour drive from her home. Once there, she met up with a longtime friend. She also planned to meet her sister Sarah the following day, but after calling her parents to inform them that the trip had become too much and she wasn't going to finish it, she called her sister and canceled. She told her parents that the solo drive had overwhelmed her and she was going to skip her friend's wedding and instead camp out for a few days in Arizona. Later that day, she was seen at the Stagecoach 66 Motel in Seligman, Arizona, appearing disoriented and attempting to pay for a room using euros. That's also when she told the clerk she was trying to stay off the grid to escape an abusive ex-boyfriend and mentioned she threw away her SIM card. When she failed to get a room, Chelsea continued traveling toward Williams, Arizona, and it's believed she slept in her SUV that night. The following night, at 8:30 p.m., a Williams police officer found Chelsea crying in her SUV parked near the Williams Cemetery.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing great. Are you doing all right?
Yeah, I just was doing a photo shoot of the Lost Soldiers and got a little emotional, so I was crying before I got...
I'm just making sure someone called it in, so...
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're quite all right. I mean,
I was just doing a photo shoot, yeah. Packed up. I'm going to leave soon.
Okay.
But I just didn't want to drive like that. Sad.
I got you. You've been smoking a little bit?
Earlier today, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know you told me that you smoke and you're kind of... Well, obviously, I would be in an emotional state as well. I don't know if you want somebody else to drive you or if you just want to hang out here for a little bit longer. You're more than welcome to do that.
Yeah, if it's okay with you. If I hang out here for another like 15 or 20 and then head on the road, that would be my plan,
Sure.
I think.
Yeah, I don't see any signs of impairment or anything like that, so...
Yeah, no, I mean, with my eyesight and then crying, it's not the best combination at night.
I totally
was like,
understand.
I'm just gonna like cry on the road, or I'm just gonna sit here and cry. So I
I got
have
you.
my dragon, and I'm just.
Oh, that's freaking cool. I didn't even notice that.
Thanks, Rosie.
Wow, Rosie,
I think
that's...
she's asleep.
Wow, right on.
She got bored.
Yeah.
When the officer checked on her, Chelsea explained that she was emotional because of the work she was doing on her Lost Soldiers project. The officer then suggested she spend the night at a nearby Love's travel stop for better safety.
Do you have like a hotel around here or anything?
I don't. I was actually thinking of just camping for the night, but I wasn't really sure exactly yet.
Gotcha. Well,
I didn't plan to be here till sunset.
Okay, you can't camp in the city limits. It's kind of like a city statute we have.
Okay, good to
But
know.
you can always go. I don't know if you can see like the yellow lights over there, the Loves. It's a trucker stop in the gas station area. You can just sleep there. Nobody will bother you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yes.
I get some good shots at sunrise too there.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sunrise here too. If you ever want to take photo shoots of like the statues in the morning, dude, it's really cool because the sun like rises right behind them.
Amazing. Okay, I'll probably stay at the truck stop then, save some money, and then
Boom.
come over for the sunrise.
You got it.
Cool.
While Chelsea seemed to love the idea, a later review of Love's surveillance footage showed she never arrived. There were a couple of potential sightings at a different Love's, but the vehicle didn't match, and they could never confirm it was Chelsea. If you hadn't already noticed, Chelsea appeared to be having a mental health crisis, which the stress from the trip and her recent breakup could have triggered. Unfortunately, in this state, people's actions can be very odd and unpredictable. The following day, on September 29th at 8:40 a.m., hunters spotted Chelsea sitting in her SUV on Forest Road 124, but according to them, she wasn't alone. They described seeing a man in the passenger seat that they described as a, and I quote, Hindu man, which likely means the man was someone of South Asian descent, such as Indian or Pakistani. Since Chelsea was a Buddhist and described by her family as a very spiritual person, internet theories have suggested she might have arranged to meet up with a spiritual guide. However, it's more likely that the man was someone she just happened to encounter because police and even private investigators were able to check her social media accounts and phone records and found no such evidence of a planned meetup. When the hunters passed again at noon, Chelsea's vehicle and the man were gone. On the day of her disappearance, on September 30th, at approximately 11 a.m., another hunter spotted her SUV on Forest Service Road 6 with 2 flat tires. He asked if she needed help, but she declined, claiming assistance was coming in about 10 minutes. When the hunter returned 10 minutes later, he found the SUV locked and Chelsea gone. Then at 12 p.m., roughly 40 to 50 minutes later, a woodcutter and his partner came upon the SUV and found Chelsea back inside. He spoke with her, and she said she was just camping and taking photos. From May to December, it's legal to cut firewood in the park for personal use, and September is peak season before the first heavy snow hits the high country. Forest Road 6, where she was seen, is the known area for personal use firewood collection. When the man cutting wood returned after finishing his work, he checked on Chelsea one last time. She was standing at her vehicle and told him she was fine. So, at around 6 p.m., he and his partner drove away, and Chelsea was never seen again. The last photo taken on her camera was at 6:50 p.m. and showed that she was still in the area of her SUV shortly after the woodcutter left. Chelsea's parents gave her until October 4th to re-establish communication, believing she was simply camping off the grid as planned. Then they called the Phoenix Police Department and reported her missing. The following day, a group of hunters found her white 2019 Ford Escape abandoned with the 2 flat tires and contacted the Coconino County Sheriff's Office. This triggered a massive search involving canine units, helicopters, and ground teams. Search dogs had picked up her scent near the SUV, but lost it within a 3-mile radius. There were no footprints found and no signs of a struggle. Inside her vehicle were her professional camera and clothes, but missing were her phone, wallet, sleeping bag, and her bearded dragon, Roxy. Meanwhile, her parents flew to Arizona to help with the search. The woodcutter and hunters also came forward and provided the information of the encounters, but sadly, it still never led to her whereabouts. Since her disappearance, there has been no activity on her phone, bank accounts, or social media. A private investigator hired by her family, along with San Diego police, has raised the possibility of foul play, but at this time, no hard evidence has been found. Chelsea stood 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighed approximately 135 pounds, with brown hair and green eyes. She was last seen wearing a white button-down shirt over a black sports bra, with tan or khaki-colored pants and boots. If you or anyone you know has information regarding the disappearance of Chelsea Grimm, please contact the Coconino County Sheriff's Office at 928-774-4523. Chelsea Grimm went missing on September 30th, 2023, and as of May 2026, she remains missing, and this case remains unsolved. On the night of February 25th, 1982, 19-year-old John Mitchell Kinsora Jr. went to an AC/DC concert in Phoenix, Arizona. At some point during the night, he became separated from his friend, met up with a different group of people, and ended up at an after-party at an apartment he'd never been to before. A few hours later, sometime between 3 and 4:30 in the morning, he walked out of that apartment and said he was going to hitchhike home. After that, he was never seen or heard from again, and whether or not he truly left the apartment is still debated all these years later. John Mitchell Kinsora Jr. was born on January 9, 1963, in Michigan to parents John Kinsora and Dorothy Marie Grozalakowski. By early 1982, he was living in Tempe, Arizona with his parents and had recently gotten a job working at Motorola. He was also preparing to move out on his own and had even put down a deposit on an apartment he planned to share with a friend. He loved music, especially rock and roll, and like a lot of people his age, he enjoyed going to concerts whenever he could. On the night of that AC/DC concert on February 25th, 1982, after John became separated from his friend, he encountered 3 men he knew, who invited him to an after-party hosted by 2 women, whom John didn't know, at an apartment on North 17th Street in Phoenix. Inside, the group spent several hours drinking and smoking marijuana. As the night went on, witnesses later said that John began making advancements toward one of the women who was there with her boyfriend. This reportedly created tension inside the apartment. Sometime between 3 and 4 a.m., John asked if he could stay the night because he was too intoxicated to safely get home, but his request was denied, and he was asked to leave. So John agreed, saying he was just going to walk and hitchhike the rest of the way home. After leaving, he was never seen or heard from again. While multiple people at the party told police that John left on his own, his parents and investigators have raised serious doubts about those accounts. They don't believe he would have ever attempted a 10-plus mile walk home while heavily intoxicated. His parents even visited the apartment to question them, but were unable to get more information. Investigators have stated that foul play is suspected in his disappearance, but very little detail about the investigation has ever been made public. Over time, 2 primary theories have developed. One is that something may have happened inside the apartment before John ever truly left. With alcohol involved and tension already building, some believe the situation could have escalated further than what was reported. The other theory is that he did leave and attempted to hitchhike home, but encountered the wrong person along the way. The problem is that there is nothing to confirm either scenario. All that is truly known is that John never made it home, never collected his paycheck from Motorola, and never contacted his family again. At the time of his disappearance, he stood between 5'7" and 5'9", weighing approximately 135 to 145 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. He also had a small scar under his right eye and burn marks on his left forearm. If you or anyone you know has information regarding the disappearance of John Kinsora, Jr., please call the Phoenix Police Department at 602-262-6151. You can also submit tips anonymously through the Arizona Silent Witness Program by calling 480-948-6377. John Mitchell Kinsora, Jr. went missing on February 26, 1982, and as of May 2026, he remains missing, and this case remains unsolved. In the early morning hours of November 3, 1993, 39-year-old Pamela Gay Jones left her home in Apache Junction, Arizona, to pick her husband up from work. According to him, the two argued while driving, and at some point near Usury Pass, she got out of the car and walked away into the desert. He said he tried to get her back into the vehicle, but when she refused, he drove off, and Pamela was never seen or heard from again. Pamela Gay Jones was born on September 2, 1954, was a mother of 4, and a former firefighter who, in 1993, was just 1 month away from graduating as a surgical technician. She'd already completed her training and was preparing to start a new career that would provide stability for both her and her children. On November 3, 1993, at approximately 1:30 a.m., Pamela left her home to pick up her husband, Kenneth Harrison Setters, who went by Jack, from his job in Tempe. According to him, an argument began when she arrived and continued as they drove toward Mesa in her white Yugo. He claimed that around 2 a.m., near Usury Pass and McKellips Road, Pamela got out of the car and walked away into the desert. He said he attempted to get her back in but was unsuccessful. Later that day, he reported her missing. From the beginning, investigators considered Jack to be the primary suspect. However, despite that suspicion, he was never charged. Over the years, the case has remained largely unchanged. Neither her family nor investigators believe she walked away that night, and instead believe she met with foul play. However, we'll likely never know because Jack passed away in 2012, taking the truth of the night with him. In the mid-2010s, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office reopened the investigation as a cold case in hopes that advances in forensic technology might lead to new answers, but unfortunately it never did. Pamela stood 5 feet 2 inches tall, weighed approximately 140 pounds, and had reddish-brown hair and brown eyes. She also had a known chipped bone in her right shin. She was last seen wearing a black ski jacket, black Levi jeans, white leather shoes, a gold wedding band, and likely her eyeglasses. She was also known to use the names Pamela Stafford and Pamela Gentry. If you or anyone you know has information regarding the disappearance of Pamela Gay Jones, please call the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office at 602-876-1000. You can also submit tips anonymously through the Arizona Silent Witness Program by calling 480-948-6377. Pamela disappeared on November 3, 1993, and as of May 2026, she remains missing, and this case remains unsolved.